Hey everybody, welcome to Fight the Dragon. So Fight the Dragon is a user-generated hack and slash RPG game that has a couple of interesting elements that I want to go over, and we're going to obviously take a look at the game, talk about what it's all about. You do get the option starting up to either use gamepad or keyboard and mouse. I'm going to use keyboard and mouse because it's easier for me to control, and we'll go my main character here and we can talk about the game. So it's a user-generated hack and slash RPG. So basically the whole premise of the game is that users can create short form dungeons, say 10 to 15 minutes in length to complete, and it's kind of like a coffee break type game that you're meant to jump into, play for a little bit, then go off and do your own thing afterwards, or you can sit and play as many adventures as you like. And the interesting part, of course, is the user generated aspect of the game, the fact that primarily most of or all of the adventure levels that you play are created by people like myself or yourself who would play the game. There are a couple of levels made by the developers, sleepcyclesgaming, I believe their developer name is, which I've played through, and a couple of other things. And we'll just talk about the game generally and what's going on with the whole deal. So firstly, I think what we'll do is we'll have a look about the area that we have here. So basically this area is like a kind of hub world, a home world that you start in, and you've got kind of various things you can do. You've got your hero graveyard up there. I think that's for if your heroes die. Nothing in there, don't know if it's been implemented. Game is of course early access, so there's a couple of things that are probably, well I say a couple, there's probably quite a lot of things that are not fully fledged or fully implemented yet. We've got our dragon arena over here. This is where we fight our dragon. Kind of what you would assume from the name, fight the dragon, that you should be fighting a dragon. In fact, we'll talk about fight the dragon first. The dragon's an interesting concept. So basically when you're doing your adventuring, going through your user-generated dungeons and collecting your loots and things like that, you earn tickets to fight this dragon. The dragon is your dragon, so everyone's got their own dragon. You fight that dragon, and it's like a persistent dragon, so it has like 1,000,000 health, I think, and over time you're meant to whittle this guy down by earning dragon tickets to go and fight the dragon. You get a couple of lives, it kills you very quickly, you go back in, then it'll have lost the health you originally took off it, but you have to start again with its reduced health, so you'll get 3 lives again, and you just basically whittle it down over time. I have no idea what happens once you kill the dragon. Don't know if anyone has. I certainly have got nowhere near. I've basically like lightly tickled its underbelly, and then it killed me horribly. So yeah, I'm interested by that. What's interesting or unusual is that I don't understand where the dragon ties into the story, or into the game, because the game doesn't really have a story with it being user-generated dungeons. There's no discernible story, or I'm not really sure where the lore is. I'm not really sure what the game world's about. All I know is that people create dungeons that it's an interesting thing as well, the dungeon creation, but people create dungeons and then you have to fight this big dragon for reasons unbeknownst. And you get dragon gear, apparently. I don't know what you use it for. Perhaps you use it for late game dungeons that people make. Who knows? Anyway, we've got customised. That's basically customising our character. Coming soon, we cannot do that. Loot shrine. Don't know what it does either. It's just up there and it does things. Create. This is where we create levels. I haven't really dabbled in that because I'm not confident in my abilities to do these things. We've got online. I haven't found enough people to play online with yet. You can also do local split screen multiplayer. You can do local co-op over LAN. You can do 4-player online. Various things you can do. I think we'll just go into the adventure and we'll talk about what it is. So, when you go into adventure mode, this is where you're greeted with this kind of like squares, and the squares are your individual adventure levels. I've done these 4 so far, so 3 of these, as you'll see here: logical, beginnings, encrypt. That's all created by the developers, 3 sprockets. Then there's this thing, Storm the Castle, by Stealth Bomber. This is the first thing that I wanted to talk about the game that I'm not particularly enthused about. So the game, these levels here created by the developers, these 3 stages here, 3 dungeons, all difficulty medium. And I had some varying degree of difficulty. These 2 were relatively easy. This one I had a little bit of difficulty with. Then there's this, Storm the Castle, difficulty easy. This is by no way an easy level. This is not easy at all. This is actually very difficult. And for me, I found it very difficult going into it, assuming that it would be an easy level. And that's probably one of the first things that I would be curious of, is that if you're relying on user-generated content, user-generated levels, often they're not going to be designed from the point of view of someone that knows about level design. So the levels are a bit kind of wonky, and the balance is completely off. Going from this level, the medium level crypts here, into this was a bit of a kind of, I wasn't prepared. I wasn't prepared at all. So that's something the developers should certainly look at, kind of ways to limit or ways to guide people creating levels to make sure that they're not misleading the difficulty of each stage that they do. But what we'll do is we'll go and we'll try one of these. I've just looked at these briefly. I could also go and look at any of these as well, but when you click on them, you can't back out of them. So I've clicked on a square and then I've been like, I can't back out of it, so I need to go in and exit because I wanted to check what these were before we started. But what I think we'll do, this is Tree Bark Part 1, Ye Old Tavern, Home Siege Home. These are all easy, purportedly. I'm going to try this one. So, it loads up the level, and you get this level that's been generated by a user. You warp in on this little kind of stone part here, and this is our little guy. He's got an axe and a shield and various things. You've got stats up in your top left. You can see I'm a fighter. I've got a health amount, I've got a stamina amount, I've got a rage amount that builds up, which we can artificially inflate with our little blue potions in here. The red potions are of course health potions. We use our rage to use these special abilities here. We've only got a 1, which is this thing here, which does like a kind of burst of energy in front of you. What are you doing up there? Archer, you piss off. We've also got, in fact, I'm already seeing that this is not as easy as the developer made levels. I'm gonna hide over here while we can talk about the game. So what do we get? We get a weak chest, average glove. I'll take those. So there's a procedural loot system in the game where it'll drop certain loots. Procedurally, I don't know what the particular details are, but you get random loot basically. Is what it would appear to you or to me. Oh my god. Easy! This is not easy at all. Let me just go through here. I'm gonna just run over the checkpoint and just evade dying. These are the chests that, oh my fucking god. Let's do one of these, a stomp. Right, he dies. So right click does a stomp thing. My god. Right, I need these. These are the things that I need. I'm going to have one, a health potion. There we go, going to do one of these. Boom, stomp, and then I'm going to kill this guy. And I died. I died because this said it was easy, and it wasn't. We'll press space and we'll restart here. And I'll need to do a butt stomp thing straight away. I don't really know what that move is. Have I built up enough rage to do one of these? I'll do one of these. Let's do one. And I died. Because I couldn't do a thing. Well, maybe I'm just bad. Maybe that's what the deal is. Maybe I'm just not kitted out for this game. But to me it seems that what people perceive as easy may not be the same as what other people perceive as easy. There's no... Okay, this is our last life, and we're getting our asses handed to us by a bunch of scumbags. It's the things that are... Oh, a rage potion. That's going to be kind of helpful, I guess. Can I just do one of these to you? There we go, you died horribly. These fuckers are the ones that are causing the problems. They're the ones that are throwing the things. Right, what did you drop over here that's a sword? Sword of Fragility. I don't want that at all. I want a sword that's not going to break. What have we got in here? Right, we've got a Buckler of Might. It's a rare, so I'll take it. Oh, we've ran out of inventory space. Well, at least that gives us an opportunity to look at the old inventory. So, by pressing tab, we can look at the inventory. It also allows us to upgrade our stats. When we get stat points, it will show somewhere here, like a little box that will say +1 or something to that effect. And you can add it to strength, defense, luck, or endurance. I've added mostly to strength because maybe I'm an idiot, who knows. And what we need to do is we need to get rid of... So we've got 20 bag slots, and I've got a lot of shit that I've picked up that I don't particularly need. So I'm going to get rid of these by right-clicking on them. So I don't want any of this junk stuff. It's just taking up inventory space. I don't really need any of these commons. I just want to keep rares at the moment. Rare and this bad guy up here, extraordinary. I want to keep him as well because he seems pretty cool. What else have I got? I've got a lot of this shit. I should probably put something on here. Hardy gloves. Probably a good idea. Get rid of this shit out my sight. I'll probably get rid of those as well. I don't really need those at all. And we got anything else? I absolutely don't need to keep that. Do I need to keep this? No. Now, I don't really know if there's anything you can do with the items you collect. The loot. I mean, look at the fucking pile of stuff we've left in our wake. Just shit everywhere. So I don't really know if there's anything you can do with your stuff when you collect the loot. I'm collecting a lot of gold. I'm not really sure if I buy anything with it. I've not really found a portal with which to purchase items, a shop or a mart or anything like that. Perhaps that's something that's to be implemented later on. What you do though is you collect stuff, procedural generation of loot, we find all that stuff, that's pretty cool. And then we kind of just work our way through to the end of the dungeon. It's kind of like almost like a linear setup in most cases. There will be puzzles occasionally. But as you go through these levels, you kind of get the feeling that they've been designed by users. They don't feel levelly, if that makes sense. And there is a voting system, and I guess that will become very, very important as the game goes into... Is this a fucking toilet? Oh, we're in the toilet. That's not ideal for progression. Well, you're a door that I can't even use. So basically there is a voting system that can be used, and I guess that'll be very important going forward for being able to kind of like easily ascertain whether or not a level is worth playing, whether or not a level is good. How did I get in this room? Do I have to break these doors? Is that what we're doing? Do I need a key? I'm guessing I need a key. So the game actually plays relatively well once you're into the kind of combat stuff. It can be a little confusing with the camera. I'm using the Q and E keys to kind of swivel the camera. I'm using the keyboard, as I said before, and sometimes I find that the camera becomes a bit of a problem, especially if you're in kind of walled off areas. Like for instance, if you're in like a kind of tight, narrow, dungeony kind of corridor situation, sometimes that can become a bit in the way. But that's something that, again, that'll probably be ironed out. This big fucking guy looks like he's going to be a really big problem for me. He's got 147 health, and he looks like he's made of stone. How am I going to deal with him? How do I even get to him is the question. So there's a door over here. Do I need something to open that? Probably. Can I open it? No. Usually these gates are opened with like kind of toggly switches and things like that. We're going to have to try and get through here as best as we can. I'm so sure that there must be a way to do this. What are you, key? What does that key mean? Key usually means something. So is there something I'm missing here? Is there a puzzle? Can I just go through here? Is you a thing that I can do? Can I just break you? No, I can't. So I'm not really sure what we're meant to do here, if I'm being honest. There's the level exit part. Is that it? Is that basically what we're doing here? I just come through here? Okay. And again, a line of chests. This is something that kind of bothered me in the last level. You work through some of the hardest shit, and then you get just a room full of chests. It just seems like I enjoy the idea of reward, but don't reward like with everything the game has to offer. And again, these complaints are purely based upon the levels that are user generated, and of course that's something that the developers can't really help what people make. I mean, certainly they can put in ways to weed out the worst of the bunch. Where the fuck did you come from, you little rascal? We're gonna just chip away at you with the old axe. There we go, you are a skeleton that exploded with a lot of blood. I appreciate that in a game. Now really all I want to do is get over to here. If I can get over there then I'm fine. I don't know how to open this though. I don't know what the fuck I'm supposed to do. Which is just... I don't want to say it's poor level design, because so what do we do with this? We pick this up, what do you do? Usually these things are put on buttons, but other buttons I can't see. I don't know. Do I put it in the toilet? I mean, what the fuck do I do with it? We shall try and find an appropriate location to put this barrel. It must be somewhere local to the door. That would make sense if it's got like a mechanical switch. I am not sure. Do we have a button anywhere in the vicinity? Because if not, I'll be quitting out this, and it means that I don't get my dragon thing. Unless I do one of these. Can I climb on top of you? No, I can't. Well, I'm going to just submit to the fact that I have no idea how to do this, so I'm going to quit this adventure. We'll put that one down to I'm not sure what to do in that. So that was Home Siege Home. Interesting. We'll try Walk in Dungeon. Again, easy. We'll remember the fact that it's easy. So you don't know how you got there, but you walk up in a dungeon, explore the town a bit before making a hasty exit. I'm assuming that these mean we need to collect keys. What the fuck are you? You're a rat, that's fine. I know what you are. I've seen you before. Seen you in many games. In video games, what we do to rats, we sword the bejesus out them, or axe them, in the case that we have an axe. So, we've got a couple of potions. A rage potion, which is basically like a mana potion, I would probably equate that to. And a health potion. Who are you? Can I not kill you? No. Please don't hurt me. Okay. Let me just chop your head off, please. So you've got a chest. What have you got? So, common. Nah, I don't really need to pick that up at all. There's a rat in here. It should hopefully die to one of these. No, I can't even do that because I don't have enough rage built up. We'll just axe him. Combat feels a bit inaccurate sometimes, I guess would be the best way to put it. You're kind of wailing away at them, and I feel a lot of the time I'm not hitting the target. Whether that's down to me being bad, or whether it's down to the game, I'm not sure. Again, the game's in early access though. Oh, okay, so this is one of these button situations that I was speaking of, so put that bastard down there. Did that do anything? I guess there's one over here as well. Break these barrels, or boxes rather. Anything in these? Probably not. No. So of course the game's in early access. These things are going to be ironed out in due course. But my main concerns are really the way that it's going to be like solely user generated levels, and you're allowing a group of people, the gamers, to make these levels when they're not skilled in level design. And I was watching a video recently. It was about Goat Simulator, and it was discussing how the Goat Simulator map just looked like one of those Quake or Unreal maps that had been user made, and they just generally had a lack of focus. There was a lot of nonsense going on. It was like someone had made a map of their own town or their own street, and that was what the Goat Simulator map was. It looked like a kind of Tony Hawk map, but not as focused. And I sometimes think that might be a thing to consider with this. With user-generated levels, there's going to be a certain degree of kind of what the fuck is going on with some levels, because people just are not skilled level designers. They're just people that play games. And because you play games, and again, because I play games doesn't mean that I know everything about games. It doesn't mean that I particularly can critique games at all anyway. So I mean, you take what I say with a pinch of salt, of course, but you have to understand that if you're allowing yourself to play a game where practically all the levels are made by users, then there's going to be that certain degree of kind of novice level design that you're going to have to deal with. And that's not to say that the levels will be bad always. It's just that sometimes I find myself thinking, well, I mean, this level actually isn't too bad. I'm enjoying what's here so far. It feels like the difficulty is correct. Like, it feels that it is easy. I know where I'm going because there's a kind of clear linearity to it. I know exactly what direction I should be going. But then again, I've not been through this big fucking door, so who knows what will happen. I like that there's little enemies here in the open. I'm not being hounded by large skeletons and rockmen and all kinds of... Right, these guys that throw the things, these guys piss me off. What are you, any imp, man? What are you? You need to die horribly. So, we're not being swamped too much, but there are archers that will have to be introduced to the sharp end of my axe whenever I get up these stairs. But all in all, I think the game has potential. Of course, being in early access, there is a long way to go, and whatever we see now may not be what we see when the game is complete. The game could change very quickly, as a lot of early access games do. But I think there's a good blueprint for something interesting. Why am I even not hitting these guys? Why are you guys... So again, I'm not hitting these guys because I'm kind of chopping in the wrong direction. I'm not really sure why that's the case. I was clicking behind myself, but you know, these are the things we deal with. But certainly, I think there's a good blueprint for a game. You just should be aware of what you're purchasing before you do. And at the moment, I don't know if I could recommend the game. It's just one of those things that I don't know if there's enough here at the moment for a lot of fun. Maybe multiplayer will be different. I could understand with friends, usually things like this are more interesting, more fun. But without there being a story, I find it hard to stay interested in the game for long periods of time. What are you? You're not even a good sword. You're not even a rare. You're not even a common. I like the loot. The loot generation's pretty cool. I like games with loot. I'm a hoarder when it comes to video game stuff. There's a guy around here that's not died. You will die though. You and your little exploding things. You must die. And I like the dragon. I think the dragon thing's pretty cool. I still have no idea why or what it's for. I mean, I'm still trying to piece together the aspects of the game that seem a bit disjointed. But it still seems like a decent game that has potential to be good. It just needs to iron out a few rather sizable kinks, but I'm sure that they'll work towards that. It's only been in early access for I think for a month at most now. It's one to watch. I wouldn't say I could recommend it now, but certainly that may change in the coming weeks. But yeah, Fight the Dragon.